go. Welcome to Minnesota Sound Radio, the podcast. I am Tanya Giddens, and the artist of the month is a singer, songwriter, and producer who isn't just creating music. He's constructing emotional architecture. From his Minneapolis roots to the vibrant pulse of LA, his music blends rock, hip hop, pop, and classical training into something cinematic and unforgettable. So I would like to introduce to everyone out there the one and only Max Millie. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Let's get into it. I said I wasn't going to bring this up, but you are the son of one Minnesota legend in particular. You are the son of the one and only Dr. Matt Fink. For those who've been living under a rock and have no idea who Matt Fink is, Dr. Fink is actually one of the members of Prince's band, The Revolution, playing keyboards. If you hear the song Baby I'm a Star, he says, Doctor, that's who he's referring to, Dr. Fink. What was it like growing up having Matt Fink as a dad? Did he come home in scrubs and, you know,
Yeah.
have this different persona? What
Yeah,
was
he mows
it
the lawn with scrubs. I'm just kidding.
like?
No, he's a dad, just taking care of my brother and I have a younger brother. But the difference is we have a studio in our house, so it was just always music. He'd be home all the time, which was nice. Both my parents growing up worked out of the house and worked from home, which wasn't a thing in the early 2000s. I'm a 90s baby, but yeah, like they were always home. My dad was always in the studio. My mom was working in her salon, which was across from the studio. So I had a cool upbringing where my parents were present like all the time if they weren't traveling and stuff like that. So yeah, there was just always music in the house going on and people coming through from around the world to work here and stay with us. It was always an adventure.
I can imagine having that sort of adventure growing up. I'm sure it shaped you musically. I was reading in your bio that you wrote your first song at age 5. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was obsessed with video game music during that time. So I wanted to learn how to play these video game songs, and then it just kind of stemmed from there. Like my brain just something clicked and I was like, oh, I could just make this stuff myself. So I started doing that. I just would write songs and licks, and I still remember those songs to this day, which is crazy. They're a lot more complex and elaborated on, and some of those old pieces I'll let shine through in current things I make today for myself.
Mhm.
So yeah.
What when when you wrote the song and you say you were inspired by gaming,
Hmm.
your teacher, what did your teacher say
Yeah,
when you wrote the song?
she was proud of me, but she wasn't stoked on it because I was not practicing the stuff that my parents were paying her to do, which was teach me classical music. And I would I would go home and play my own things, and I'd come to my piano lessons and be like, "Hey, check this out! Look what I made!" And she's like, "Yeah, but did you practice Fair Elise?" And I'd be like, "Nah, I did not do that."
Ah,
And they're like, "Well, we're gonna have to spend the whole day learning that." But I was a quick learner. Like I would get those songs done fairly quick, you know. So
how did gaming and movie soundtracks shape your understanding of what music could do emotionally?
uh I just because it's a soundtrack to something visual. When I write these songs, I imagine something visual. Like every song that I write tells a story. They're very cinematic. And I think the thing about video game music is just like so repetitive and you just hear it over and over and over again that it just gets stuck in your head. So I think I was forcefully addicted to that type of music when I was a kid.
Hmm.
But yeah, because I wasn't, I was seeking out music at the age of 5. It was like Beatles and Daft Punk with Discovery. Their album came out in 2001. So I was 5 or 6 when that came out, and I that was like one thing I requested fairly regularly.
Hmm.
So, and that was a super repetitive album. So I like repetition in songs. I like drilling stuff into people's heads.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. I was listening to your album. I was listening to the cuts and I see that now.
Yeah.
Actually, it took me back to me being in high school listening to A Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah, that's one I haven't heard yet, but I can see that one for sure. That's definitely a band that I like. Even my hair kind of looks like that right now.
Yes.
Normally without the headphones on, you wouldn't be able to tell, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I can I can actually see that. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, Flock of Seagulls is a good one. Yeah, I get a lot of comparison to that stuff, but I just everything is like polished for the 2020s, but it's very heavily influenced by that era of music. So,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I get the Daft Punk reference as well. I didn't even think about Daft Punk until you mentioned.
Yeah, yeah. And there's some songs, some other demos that were not on that link that I sent you guys that are even closer to that. Like there's some wild stuff I got in the pocket that album that I sent you guys is still tentative because
Mhm,
I went and worked out in Detroit and I've been going out to places, LA and Detroit, and working on this and shaping it and cutting it with my producer, Jared Lee Goslin, who also goes by Darko, and we've been close collaborators on a lot of things over the past 4 almost 5 years now. So
mhm,
we've been just shaping it, and we have like newer versions than the stuff that you heard on there. That's even crazier, more refined, and extra things added to it, different arrangement stuff. So it's shaping up. Like I thought I was like ready to get this out there, but then we did some things, and it's like, wow, we can still like push the envelope further on these tracks, I think.
And there's nothing wrong. I think music is so expansive that
Mm-hmm.
you can continue to push the envelope and finally just go off the cliff.
Yeah. And what I'm doing with this style and genre of music, like you said, it's like the 80s, but I'm working at tempos between like 150 to like 170, 180. It's like very fast. There's
Hmm.
been a trend on the internet for about 5, 6 years now where they'll take like popular indie songs and they'll speed them up and they'll call them nightcore. And I was like, well, what if I just made an album that was already that and it's done because people seem to like this so much and I haven't really heard anything like this where it's this vibe, but it's already just like fast and it tears through you and it just makes you want to jump around and dance, which is what happened at the last show I did. I had people jumping around. I was like, oh, they're actually enjoying this. Look at that.
But I mean, hey, it's a different for me, it's different, but for your generation, I'm about 125 years old, so it's a different generation, but I get it.
Yeah.
Every generation has a certain type of music that they are associated with. And your generation, like you said, you're a 90s, 2000s baby.
Yeah. I'm
You know.
95, so I'm going to be
Oh
30
yeah.
this year.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I was a full-blown adult by then. But okay, now I'm telling my age. But it's always each generation has a different um genre or type of music that they tend to gravitate to.
Yeah,
And
yeah. There's the really popular things that I think are coming up is like this slower type of drum and bass that's really popular with artists like Charlotte Plank and Pink Panthers that I really enjoy.
mhm.
And then hyper pop, which is what they also do too, which is another genre that I really like. And then there's just like everyone that's just like blending and throwing things together like crazy. It's wild.
Yeah, but then again, that's what music is all about. Music is universal.
Hmm.
So did your family recognize at an early age that you were different musically?
Yeah, I think so. I think they put me in piano lessons as soon as they heard me like improvising piano by myself. And they heard that, they're like, what the heck? Okay, we gotta get him lessons. And they always like kept me satiated with equipment and things like computers to record on, synthesizers, like all that over the years. So yeah, they're
Now,
very supportive when I was younger.
Oh, they're not supportive now? You said when you when you were
No,
younger.
they're very supportive now. Yeah, they're very supportive. They're so very supportive. Yeah.
Now, explain to a person like me, meaning again, I'm 125 years old, so I don't know about these things. Gaming, music for gaming. Exactly what is that? Or what would it be? If you could explain what the musical soundtracks are for gaming.
Well,
What?
gaming soundtracks now are just like full blown orchestral scores. But going back to the stuff that I really liked, it was like Mega Man. I was a really big fan of that because those levels were torturous. Like you'd go through the level 1,000 times before you could beat it. And I like to challenge myself. So I play these games on like the hardest difficulty
Mhm.
because I like to torture myself, I guess. Um, so yeah, like that stuff, like those retro-ish kind of soundtracks were my vibe back then. But now I like full blown like orchestral stuff and just movie soundtracks and television. Like I just watched the newest season of Andor, which is a Star Wars show, and there was a synth in the main theme that I was like, I need that. I need that synth. It was like this detuned kind of square pad sounding thing. And I went down and I remade that sound and put it in a few of my tracks recently that I've been working on and redid it because I'm like, I need that. That was like perfect. That's like something I'm looking for. So yeah, video game soundtracks, super repetitive and crazy, and then movie soundtracks, especially like the more wilder they are, and a lot of stuff these days is just noise,
Yeah.
which is cool. Like I was a big fan of the Westworld soundtrack. I was a big fan of the Succession soundtrack. And then I really liked recently the Severance soundtrack is really cool. And I go out of my way to listen to the stuff. Like I'll throw it in my headphones when I'm doing housework or just laying in bed. I'll just
Right.
lay there and just close my eyes and listen to this stuff and just try and pick apart the details of it and enjoy it.
Okay. You cite Kanye West,
Yeah,
Daft
that was
Punk.
that was an old one.
Ah,
That meant to be fixed a while ago.
okay.
I
Oh,
think you got an old bio, but
but you
yeah,
know what? It's okay because at that time back then, Kanye was hot.
yeah, and
He
I've
was
met
hot.
him when I met him 5 years ago. He was a pleasant, funny person to be around. I don't
Mhm.
think I would want to be around him now, but yeah, it's like his production really influenced me. That was like the first like rap artist that I went out of my way to listen to when
Mhm.
I was like and the reason why is because he had the Daft Punk song. That the song that Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger is what brought me into that realm because I was like 9 years old when his first album came out. That wasn't probably a very appropriate thing to listen to as a kid. But when I was
Well,
in
look,
junior
well,
high,
we listened to 1999 album, Let's Pretend We're Married at our age. So,
yeah,
you know,
true, true.
so it kind of weighs, balances itself.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I still have a lot of respect for him as an artist and a fashion designer. I still own a lot of his clothes, but I don't wear them
Mm,
anymore. It's just a sad kind of like tragic situation for me, feeling the type of way about an artist that I really liked and looked up to. So
right.
yeah.
Now, in addition to Kanye, you mentioned that Quincy Jones, Daft Punk, EDM are your key influences. What did you learn from each of them? You already talked about what you learned from Kanye, but what did you learn from Quincy? Rest in peace, Daft Punk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Quincy just arrangement and that dude was multifaceted. Just he could do everything. He could arrange scores. He worked with big bands. I mean, he worked with Frank Sinatra and then he worked with Michael Jackson, just like complete different things. And he did movie soundtracks like
Right.
Superfly and all that stuff. Just huge repertoire of stuff. And that kind of influenced me. It was like, well, I'm not going to ever put myself in a box. I'm going to be doing everything. Like this year, I've been working on EDM tracks, country tracks, hip hop tracks, pop
Mm.
tracks, R&B, dream pop, chill wave. Like I could just go down a list of like all this stuff. Like if I really wanted to, the album that I have could just be like a wild amalgamation of like all these things. But that's the only thing that I've like really kind of kept myself in a box with. I'm just like, oh, I just want all this stuff to sound like a DJ set. I think that would be cool. But
That actually would be.
yeah, and that's how I have the show set up. Like literally, it's just like it doesn't stop. Like I don't take a break between songs. It's set up like a DJ set where it just keeps going.
Right.
So the people who was performing my show recently, they were confused. They're like, wait a minute, like it doesn't stop. And then I had some people there because there was DJs performing after me that were like, oh, your DJ set was really sick. And I'm like, it wasn't a DJ set. It's supposed to sound like one. I'm up there singing the whole time. But yeah. And I'm like,
And let me
okay,
just
the point's getting across, but not quite. But yeah.
and let me just clarify. Curtis Mayfield did the Superfly soundtrack.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Fly is
Yeah,
my
that
number
was the
one
wrong one.
favorite movie of all time.
Yeah,
So
I do love the
I have an
soundtrack. So Curtis
affinity.
Mayfield too. Yeah, I love the
Yeah, I have an
soundtrack.
affinity to Superfly because I love Ron O'Neal. Rest in peace.
Shit, I feel
But
like an ass. Like yeah, what's
no,
up.
no, it's fine. It's fine. The brain was moving fast.
Yeah,
Brain was
no,
moving fast, so it's really okay.
yeah,
Your classical training,
yeah.
how did it give you an edge in the studio?
Well, I know how to play instruments pretty well, I would say. I don't suck at what I do. Uh, yeah, I know my scales, I know my chords, I know my theory. So basically,
Oh, I
I'm
could not
really,
do theory in high school. Oh, I hated music theory.
it's
Oh,
wild. There's a lot to it, but it's when someone communicates with me, like I know for the most part what they're saying. Like, oh, like beats, off beats, time signatures, chord progressions, just making it really easy to work with me. Even if they don't necessarily know what they're talking about, I can figure out what they're talking about and
right.
do that as a producer because that's my main job. That's how I make my money is music production.
Well, that's where, production is something that a lot of people, a lot of young musicians need to really think about because now the music business as a whole has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do you adapt to the changes? Because they really fly in and fly out.
Yeah,
So you really have to be on top of things.
I learn what's popular and then I teach myself how to make that type of music. And I will just constant like I'll be working like 14 hours a day making
Mm,
so like literally before we got on this call, I was up until the call, I was working on a tech house track. I got hired to remix for an artist, which I can't talk about yet, but
okay.
it's some cool stuff. But I'm working with people from ages 18 to like, to like in early 40s right now. I have like
Right.
a very it's so I'm making like working with bands that are on the older side, and then I'm working with teenagers that want just like this super wild, crazy sound. So I'm learning and adapting between the two. And what's really cool when I go and switch back and forth between these projects, like something I learned from one will kind of bleed into the other, and they'll be like, "Yo, that's tight. Like, what is that?" I'm like, "I don't know. Was just doing this the other day and thought it could be sick on this, you know."
Well, diversity is key.
Like
Diversity is
I was
key.
just doing a rap track for a buddy of mine like a week or two ago, and I was remixing tracks, doing drum and bass, and he had the beat for the track, and it was like a beat from a few years ago. I was like, oh, this sounds really good still, but it's like not super current. And then while he was just taking a break and writing lyrics and switching lyrics up on the track, I just like turned off the beat he gave me and then just like threw in all these drum and bass tracks and synths really quick while I was in my headphones. And then I took it out. I was like, yo, check this shit out. And he was like, whoa. I was like, what the hell did you do? This is crazy. I was like, yeah, this would be sick as a drum and bass track, right? And so we did, and we did it for the Timberwolves when they were in the playoffs.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So it was cool and it really came out quick. So I'm like, yeah, this could be super dope.
Well, you are on a roll, honey. You are strictly on a roll.
Yeah.
Writing, singing, producing.
Yeah. And
If
and
you,
jamming
okay,
and playing in bands here and there.
what if you could only do one of those three for the rest of your life? Put the other two aside. What would it be?
I mean, it would still be producing. I am a person that's like to be. I like solitary being in the studio, doing that, just like me and my computer and keyboards and just working on that. But producing is an umbrella thing. You can still sing while you produce. But yeah, that's my favorite thing to do. Performing is a close second. I have a lot of fun doing that. I'm not shy or nervous when it comes to that stuff. I get pretty stoked on that stuff. So
What is it um, that, how can I say this? Being a musical architect, as you call yourself, what does that mean to you?
just building a sound from the ground up, soundscapes, like sound design, soundscapes, like making something sound like complete and whole and cool that you can just like kind of dive into. Like in the bio, it's like a home you can walk through, you can explore it with your ears. You're just like, wow,
Hmm.
this is really cool. Like I've always said, which I've heard from someone else, like art is decorating space, music is decorating time, and you're kind of like decorating this time that you can like walk through and explore and listen to and pick through it.
I like that. I like
Yeah,
it a lot. That's deep.
yeah. That's what I thought. I'm like that shit's cool. I'm gonna keep that one in there. I'm not that cool to come up with that myself, but
Yeah, I understand. Me, I
not
understand.
gonna take credit for that one.
Okay, what part of your house, your musical house, would be the chorus? What would be the verse? What would be the bridge?
I mean, like talking sounds like bass and drums are the basement. The mid floor is like all the arrangement, stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then the top floors are all the glitter airiness and stuff like that. And yeah, if we're talking like times, yeah, that's how I would see it. Like you're kind of just exploring the song itself and the sounds that are in the core verse, chorus, and bridge and stuff like that.
When you made your move from Minneapolis to Los Angeles, how did your energy shift creatively?
Well, during being in LA, I was making a lot of hip hop and I was very much like learning what the culture was out there. It was different. It was the center of pop music. Like Minneapolis, when I lived here, I was in a band. I was playing in indie music. When I moved out to LA, it was like strictly pop music, which was hip hop and R&B based hip hop. Like everything had hip hop as like the basis of all the music that was coming out around that time. So I just immersed myself in the culture out there and working with the artists out there that I came out to work with, as well as new people, and just kind of got fairly well known as a producer and ghost producer in that scene and writer and stuff like that.
So it would be safe to say that you learned a lot once you learned a lot more about music because you learned about music in Minneapolis, but
Mm-hmm.
to LA, you learned a little bit more, quite a bit more.
Yeah, and I was with my contemporaries, so it was really cool just being there and bouncing all these ideas off these other artists that I worked with over the years out there. Who I'm still making stuff with to this day, which is really cool.
Who's your favorite rap artist?
Currently, I mean, I love Kendrick. I've been a fan of his for a long time. I love Mac Miller. I've been really exploring his stuff. All the it's recently again, just diving back into his stuff because I'm working with an artist that is similar into a vibe. But you would have asked me a few years ago, I would have said Kanye, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean Kendrick, and I'm a sucker for Drake. Like, dude knows how to make a pop
Right.
song. I'm a sucker for him. As far as like, yeah, I mean the list is long. I just haven't been like listening to a lot of rap lately. I've been
Mm.
listening to things that are similar to me and just like mostly dance tracks, like lots and lots of EDM is what I listen to. And I've been listening to Justice's new album a
Okay.
lot because I'm going to be seeing them this coming Tuesday. They're going to be here where I'm at. So that's going to be an exciting concert. I've been a fan of theirs since I was like 12, like 2007. So a long time coming to see that concert. But
Sounds like
yeah,
sounds like it's gonna be fun.
yeah, it's going to be sick. I'm very excited.
How do you stay grounded when you do so many things, writing, producing, singing, designing your own sound?
Communing with nature. Sounds a little corny, but getting out, being in the green, hanging out at the beach, you know, going to a forest, going to a park, stuff like that. Just quiet moments of quiet. I'm a weirdo. When I drive, I don't listen to music in the car. Like I just
No,
let
I
my
do this.
mind
I do the same thing.
I let my mind run because I'm listening to music 24/7. So it's like things like I'll go for a long drive and just sit in silence. Like today, when I get off here, I got put on a guest list for a show tonight, so I'm gonna go up and see that. On my way to the city, I'll be sitting in silence because I'm gonna go see a concert. So
Yeah.
yeah, stuff like
Yeah.
that just like lets my brain run. And what's crazy is in those moments I'll think of something new or have an idea or a song will pop in my head and I'll be like, oh, I could finish these lyrics with this, or this could get replaced with that, or whatever. Just being present in the moment because it's important to just stay present. Don't think about the past because that's behind you. It doesn't matter anymore. They don't think about the future because the future is going to come no matter what. Just stay here in the present. The only time I think about the past is when I'm writing a song. That's like the only time I'm like really, you know, doing that. And that's what brings me back. And, talking about the future is just like things are going to come, work hard, plan, do what you got to do. And yeah, in those moments of silence, that's what I'm doing. It's just staying in the present, keeping myself grounded.
Love it. Love to
Yeah.
hear that, especially from a youngin'. Love to hear that because a lot of people your age, they're always on the go. They're social mediaing. That's not
Yeah.
a, I make it a word. The social mediaing.
Doom
They're
scrolling. That's what you
yes,
call that.
always out and about, or
Yeah.
they're not just sometimes it's just good to be still.
Hmm.
And that's when you hear the voice speaking to you and you create. So
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Communing with nature, being in the
Yes.
present, just baseline.
Yep. You talk about making music that gives people places to rest, rush, and breathe. What emotions do you try to leave behind in your songs?
Oh boy. Are we talking about the old stuff or the new stuff?
Both.
The old stuff was very chill, like down tempo hip hop things. So that was like resting, chill wave hip hop almost. The new stuff is there's no resting in that. It's just crazy manic episodes of just like it's like word
Mhm.
vomit of like these stories I'm telling. I'm just like trying to make people feel the way I felt when I was dealing with these things. Like I had a friend the other day who was listening to one of my tracks called Drag Me Under, who was just he was really feeling it. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but he's like, dude, I listened to that like 7 times. And I was just like the lyrics in that song were so poignant. I feel like exactly what you were feeling when you were writing that song. And I was like, yeah, that song is written about a frustrating situation I had with a girl in my life, like I don't know, 5 years ago now at this point.
Mhm.
Someone who I'm still friends with to this day. It wasn't a bad situation. It was a sad situation. Like I
Right.
wanted to stay, she wanted to go somewhere else. That's life. And she couldn't make up her mind. So it was just dragging me under.
Yeah.
Whereas I'll Feel Again, that song is a song for people, and this is the opening song of the album. Like that
Right.
song is about leaving a bad relationship, and when you're leaving something that's so bad you just almost you like feel dead inside, you feel defeated, it's not great, and it's just like, well, someday I'll feel again, and I know I'm going to do it. It's like a very happy song actually, despite the some of the lyrical content. It's like, I'll feel again, I'll forget about you, it doesn't matter, I'll love again, I'll do all this stuff. I know, and it's like I know it's going to happen, you just got to work through it.
Right.
And then
And
so
that brings me to another question. Do you feel that today's artists are expected to reveal more than ever?
Uh, yeah. I mean, I for one enjoy going on the Genius website, which breaks down lyrics and what people talk about and things like that. But I don't think it's you're obligated to. I think having a layer of mysteriousness is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Let people like kind of think about what you're saying and what you're doing. And a lot of pop girl artists recently do that. They don't really break it down for you. They just have like kind of ambiguous lyrics, and you're just like, well, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Taylor Swift, people love breaking down her lyrics because she won't tell you what her songs are about. They'll be like, "What the hell is this about?" Like the Midnight's album had songs all over it like that, where I was just like, "I don't know what this is about, but it's a vibe." And you listen to it, Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso. I was like, "What the hell does espresso mean?" I don't get it, but it just sounds really cool. I wish she would tell me, but
Maybe she
yeah,
will one day.
maybe she will one day. I mean, it's just like, yeah, yeah. And then Watermelon Sugar Haze. It's like this Harry Styles song. It's like, what? It just sounds sick. Just
Oh
cool,
God.
just cool, just cool, cool lyrics. But I'm not as cool as those guys. Like I will literally what I'm talking about, I will break it down word for word, bar for bar, make it as just like plain as possible.
Fair enough. If someone just discovered the music of Max Millie today, what song would you want them to hear first and why?
Of stuff that's currently out.
Yes.
Uh Ooh, there's only some things on my SoundCloud that are not on streaming, but it's a hard one. A Fever is cool because that was kind of my transition into what I'm doing now. And yeah, that's a good one. And then Right Back is just a banger. Like you're not gonna hear stuff like that from me ever again, even though I still make that stuff for the fun of it,
Mhm.
but it's never gonna see the light of day. It's for other artists, but I do the demos and everything for them. That's a banger. It's a classic. It's been getting picked up a lot on syncing sites and agencies and stuff. Like I'll look at it, I'm like, wow, this was just in the PGA golf tournament. Like that's random.
Mm.
I wonder what part they took from it because the rest of the song is filthy. So they must have just taken
Ah,
the part where it says right back, right back. I mean, go listen to the song, go listen to the opening lyric of it. I don't know if we're allowed to swear on this interview. So
you can let loose a couple of them. It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, go listen to it. It's a funny song. But yeah, that stuff is classic. It's fun. Like I loved performing that stuff back in the day. But maybe one day I'll break it out for a show just for the heck of it. But
Sure, why not?
yeah. So yeah, that stuff is cool. But when the project comes out, go listen to the whole thing. It's a DJ set. It's a story. All 12 songs from start to finish. We got some singles coming out very soon here. We're just wrapping up some deals.
Mhm.
Just so this stuff doesn't just release and go into the ether,
Right.
like because I could do that, but it's good to have like a machine backing you. So I have a few situations like that right now. I've been talks with for the past couple months, figuring out exactly how we're going to do the rollout and all this. It's going to be legit. I'm very excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
What song, not counting your song, what song would you say would be considered your mantra?
For this current album, I mean, like The Cure, like the Friday I'm in Love song. That's a good one. M83, like Midnight City. Like imagine those songs, but just like faster. Or what else? Yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Okay. I'm going to from the songs that you sent, I'm going to name three of them, and I want you to tell me the first word that comes to your mind when I mention these titles. Okay. Always After You.
Um Crazy Stalker.
Okay.
Stalker.
Yikes.
I'm not a stalker in real life, but that's what the song is. It's about that. It's like I based it off another song about stalking.
Okay.
What was that one song? Was it a Radiohead song? I can't remember. It's like every step you take, that song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of like the basis for that song. And I'm like, I want to write a song like this that makes me sound like a crazy stalker. I think that would be sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not it though. I'm not, I
Okay,
promise.
you're not. You're not. Superposition.
Oh, Dark Matter was the TV show that I based that song off of. So the word would be dark matter.
Okay. It felt like yesterday.
Nostalgia.
Pixie weapon.
Terrorist.
Oh, all right.
Mental terrorist.
Okay.
Yeah.
And silhouettes.
Silhouettes, love song. That's a love song. One
Love
through
song.
and through. Yeah.
Okay. Final question. 5 years from now, what's one dream you haven't spoken aloud yet?
I want to be on tour as a DJ, like fully. I actually have a side project that has been getting a lot of traction, but it's a secret. It's kind of a semi-secret.
Hmm.
It's like a Daft Punk situation where I don't show my face or do everything. But
Oh,
yeah, it's doing well right now. So I hope to be doing that full time.
okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I like doing both. I like being a pop artist and then I like being a DJ too.
All right. Well, we are
I'm a
going to
busy
wrap
guy.
this. I see. That's why we're going to wrap this up because I know you have somewhere you have to be.
Yeah, not until 10 o'clock. They don't go on until 11. I'm gonna go see a bunch of my rapper homies, go do a show tonight. So
Mm.
I'm excited. I haven't seen them perform yet. So
Oh,
yeah, it should be fun. And they are not playing any songs that I produced tonight.
okay.
But there's a band next month that I two people that I one rapper and then a band that I worked with, and then another artist that I worked with that's going to be playing at First Avenue next month that I worked on some of their
Okay.
stuff.
Okay. Sounds good.
So yeah, slowly, dipping my toes in the Minneapolis sound and culture out here, which has been cool.
Yeah, it's a different vibe, definitely a different vibe from LA. And I will say, um, coming from where I'm from, I was really impressed with Minneapolis has so much talent.
Yeah, we're crazy here.
Oh my gosh.
We're crazy out here. It's pretty wild, actually. There hasn't been a local indie group or band that I've seen since I've been out here that I've been like disappointed or just like bored of seeing, which
Hmm.
every time I've been blown away. Some bands recently that I saw this band called Porch Light that was really good. So I went to go see a girl that I kind of know was opening up for her named Emily Rea, who's really dope. And
Hmm.
then I went to go see my friend's band. She plays strings in a band called Pretty Pretty Please. They're really great. And then the bands that I'm seeing coming up tonight, I'm gonna go see my buddy Little Crush, and then we have a little punk rock side project called 333. And
Okay.
then when my show, my buddy went on before me, Jalen Washington. We've been working on an album for him that's insane. It's like this really dope, like shoegaze album. Dude's got pipes and can shred. So it's a lot of energy. And then next month I'll be seeing Mati, who's a rapper. I did some auxiliary synth for him. And then Orlando and the Rumors, another great band who they're just like a collective of musicians out here, and everything they send me is like super dope, and I'll just do like additional production and stuff for a couple songs. They're sending me more this month. And then before those two, that same night, another girl named Morgan McCarthy, who's really great. She has a voice like butter. She's freaking awesome. So yeah.
Well, you seem to have your hands full.
Yeah, I mean, and then another artist who I really like recently, Jordan Johnson, who's really
Mhm.
great. I think you guys had him as your artist of the month maybe a month or two ago.
I believe so. I believe
Yeah, he's
it.
he's
Yeah.
great. He's really great. I want to go see him again. I just nothing's lined up for me to go see a show of his, but someday, soon, hopefully.
It'll come. We'll
Yeah.
definitely come. All right. Tell everyone your social media handles.
Yeah, so it's Max Millie, but I spell it like MVXMILLI. And that's what you'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, all the everything. It's all the way across the board. The same thing.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask this final question.
Okay.
What does June Artist of the Month mean to you?
It means that I'm making moves here. If a radio show like you guys, especially Minneapolis, wants to have me be the artist of the month, is exciting for me. and just like sharing it on a platform with my hometown is pretty sick.
All right, and there you have it, everyone.
I hope that was a good enough answer.
No, that's what
Yeah,
all I want you to do is just talk straight from the heart, and you did
yeah,
that. So,
cool.
Max, thank you so much for joining me tonight on the Artist of the Month podcast. And to everyone who's tuned in, thank you for joining us. We are on Facebook, Minneapolis Sound Radio, as well as on Instagram. So check us out. Until the next time, everyone be safe and have a wonderful, wonderful week.